3 ways that burnout becomes your reality. Burnout comes in many forms, but it's sometimes hard to identify. Think about how common this scenario is. Someone decides they need to shed pounds quick, so they start going to the gym for extra cardio. 4 sessions a week to be exact. On top of that, they start attending 3 spin classes a week while mixing in the occasional weightlifting session. This would all be fine and dandy, except they're also on a 1,300 calorie diet. This will work until it doesn't. It's a race to see what fails first, the metabolism or the routine. Ramping things up to the extremes is usually the route taken when desperation sets in. Nobody ever takes the time to consider the effects of their habits on mood and drive. On top of physical and mental symptoms, burnout causes serious mood disruptions. Despair begins to slowly enter into your reality when you're overstressing your system. This has happened to me so many times, yet every time I forget that my gloom is being brought on by my exhaustion. Here are the different ways that burnout can become a reality. Burnout from overtraining and/or undereating. Calorie deficits. That's the name of the game when it comes to fat loss. Basically, you have to burn more than what you take in. Unfortunately, people take this fact to extremes. And although this might work for a week or two, your energy, mood, sleep, and drive will all start to dwindle. The wider that calorie deficit gets, the more your body needs to adapt by reducing hormonal output. Once that's gone, the energy goes, the drive goes, and the sleep goes. And that's just scratching the surface. The only time there's an exception is during fasting. Paradoxically, eating nothing is usually better than eating very little. To eat very little is to ensure that your blood sugar is still high enough to stop your system from utilizing stored fat the way that it could. Additionally, hormonal output remains higher in the fasted state than in the low-calorie state. That being said, fasting can be taken too far, to the point where it becomes starvation. Depending on how fat-adapted the person is, they could go a few days fasted with no problems. Burnout from sustained stress. Sustained stress leads to exhaustion. Stress takes many forms: psychological stress, mental stress, physical stress. Stress management comes in many forms. To combat stress, I use the following: exercise, breathing habits, relaxation time, meditation. Psychological stress is pretty complicated to pinpoint, and I think that everyone has their own understanding of it. The way that I currently understand it is to be lost in our repetitive and useless thoughts. Being lost in our emotions is the main symptom of this. Think of emotions as waves in a sea. You don't want to get lost in the ups and downs of the waves. You'll feel like you're drowning. Instead, you want to view those waves from a different vantage point, from above rather than from within, without judgment. Don't take things too seriously, just be. Understand that positive can't exist without negative. Having this change of perspective really transforms life, but it takes time to manifest. Meditation and breathing habits are key in helping to bring this transformation to life. Mental stress is a type of stress that comes with constant mental exertion, being focused on complex or deep tasks or topics for extended periods of time. This is typically the case in a corporate 9-to-5 role. Knowing when to take a break is important here. Physical stress is the most common for athletes. Overtraining is the issue, but training in itself is also a stress reliever. Knowing when to dial it back and how to listen to your body is a skill. Being that exercise is therapy, people abuse it like any other drug when they're using it to overcome depression. Balance here is key. Burnout from sleep deprivation. Sleep deprivation trickles down into so many other problems: digestive issues, physical fatigue, fat gain, etc. Basically, sleep deprivation ruins everything. Sleep deprivation doesn't always refer to the length of sleep either. The quality of your sleep is just as important. The quality is heavily influenced by dietary habits. It has been shown countless times how sleep deprivation affects blood sugar levels throughout the day, regardless of what you eat. Eating the same food produces a different level of fat gain depending on how well you slept. Recovery can't happen without proper sleep either. When muscles are broken down but can't rebuild, they stay broken down. That problem just compounds. You therefore feel horrible and become more injury prone. The list really goes on and on. The typical person who puts themselves through sleep deprivation can probably withstand a week or so. Beyond that, the sleep deprivation begins to compound and manifest in short temper, inability to focus, fat gain, fatigue, etc. aka burnout. Takeaways. Our idea of burnout needs to expand. We are a complex machine that requires fine-tuning. To make decisions that favor one aspect of our success but completely neglects our health is dangerous. Our mental and physical and physiological stress needs to be made the highest priority. Sure, we know that soreness calls for a rest day, but do we ever consider how a depressing day may call for a mental health day? Sure, we go for a run to lose weight, but do we ever meditate to lose repetitive and depressing thoughts? Burnout is far more common than we seem to be able to identify. We could do a much better job of taking care of ourselves. Would you not want the best for a son, daughter, mother, father, pet? Why not take the same care of yourself? Thanks for listening. If you'd like to read or listen to more like this, visit www.banafit.com. That's www.banafit.com. Thanks.